Pulling Your Own Strings by Dr. Wayne W. Dyer. I'm going to summarize parts of this book from a contemporary perspective. This book was published in 1978 when being a victim was seen as a weakness, not a strength like it is today. I think this book is still relevant. That's why I chose to talk about it. I'll quote the author and then I'll add my own perspective to it. That's how I'm doing this video. In 1978, this book was for people who were more low-key and passive. It's for those who had been abused and possibly thought that they didn't have enough strength to stand up for themselves. The author provides examples from people who had gone through various situations in life and how they fixed their problem. He also provides questionnaires that the reader could fill out. Now, I suggest you see a therapist if you're one of those people who is classified as a doormat or if you're in an abusive relationship. Dyer says you are being victimized whenever you find yourself out of control of your life. The key word is control. If you are not pulling the strings, then you are being manipulated by someone or something else. Now, I agree with Dyer, but one must consider circumstances. For instance, if you're frail or infirmed, then what? What if you're poor and have very limited resources? What then? I'm sure there's some amount of control a person can obtain, but it's still relative to the individual circumstances. Victims are the first people to run their lives according to the dictates of others. I see this all the time on social media. If a political party claims a certain group is a victim, that group will gladly gobble up the victim status. In fact, being a so-called victim is profitable if you're among a certain sect of people. Victims always operate from weakness. Now, this is true, but it's deceptive as well. What about professional victims? They claim to be victims, but they are liars because they have more power than their so-called oppressors. Develop new habits. Get out of the victim trap. I suggest you get into the habit of saying no, even if you mean yes. Because the power of the word no gives you a certain amount of strength that you never knew you had. Stop asking for permission to speak, think, or to behave. You should just go your own way, so to speak. Do your own thing. I mean, we all have to follow laws and certain rules, but essentially just be yourself. He says to look someone directly in the eyes when you're speaking. I'm amazed that there are certain people out there, even men, who don't look people in the eyes when they speak to them, or they'll turn away. That's a sure sign of insecurity. I never do that myself, but I see a lot of people who do. And I think since we're in the age of social media, a lot of people cannot function outside of Twitter or Facebook or YouTube. So essentially, they are stunted when it comes to communicating in real life. Stop wallowing around in the past. I used to tell myself this mantra, the past is gone, I must move on. I said it over and over and over. I even recorded it and had it played constantly so that I would never forget this, that the past truly is gone and I must move on. He says to stop comparing yourself to others. There is only one you. This is a major issue today because everybody is comparing themselves to someone else. it is disastrous. He says, you teach others how to treat you on the basis of what you will tolerate. You teach those people with behavior, not words. So a lot of times women will challenge a man. She will do what's called a shit test to see how strong he is, or whether he is the man that she thought she was. And it's kind of like, sharpening a sword, so to speak. And they do this. And so the man has to stand up for himself. That's what the test is really all about. It is basically her seeing how far she can take you. Now, so if you stand up for yourself and you do not tolerate that kind of behavior, she will respect you. Other people will respect you too if you do not tolerate certain types of behavior. And lastly, wherever you find yourself in life, whatever the circumstances, you can make the situation into a learning or growing experience. And you can choose not to be emotionally immobilized. Turn adversity around. Really, that's where wisdom comes from, is taking a challenging situation and turning it around, finding the positives in it, so that you can change your life as a result. Thank you for watching. Bye. Pull Your Own Strings by Gail Spanier Rawlings. We are connected in invisible ways to our fears. We are the puppet and the puppeteer, the victims of our expectation. Silken threads pull, arms and legs flop and jangle. We dance to the music of our fears, bodies crouched inside, children hiding, pretending, under that rock, behind that tree, someplace, everywhere, not what we control. Pull your own strings, move into your body, and to the beat of life, cut your strings, hold out your hand to the unknown, walk in the dark, open your arms to the embrace of air, make them wings that soar.